Hello, friends. I'm excited for our call today. We have a few updates that I want to share with you. I think there's chocolate on my face. um, so I am going to be taking a break from Instagram. And the reason for this is because I just genuinely do not resonate with the platform anymore. A lot of people that follow me on there are people who want to see what I'm doing but don't necessarily care or want to add anything to my well-being. And so I am feeling a split from Instagram. However, with that being said, I'm going to start being more active on other social media platforms. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to experiment a little bit and see where I kind of find my flow. I'm excited to step away from the world of Instagram and into a new way of being, way of expressing my truth online. And the reason that I'm sharing this with you here today is because of what we're going to be doing on this call, which we're going to be working with a practice from this book called Sekhmet by Nikki Scully. Amazing book. And the practice that we're going to be doing is, I'm going to adapt it a bit, but we're going to be doing a practice called hunting fears. And this is for our free community, but this is also going to be part of the curriculum inside of Stories for Success as like an added somatic practice, because I feel that it will really amplify what's already in that portal. And how this ties together is I told a mentor of mine, I think it was about a year ago now, that I wanted to leave Instagram. And instead of asking my reasoning or asking, why, like what's making you feel that way, she kind of just went into like, well, don't do that. And it kind of sent me into this like scarcity spiral of like, okay, no, I need to be on Instagram. Like I need to post on Instagram. And so I didn't leave Instagram. And she was coming from a good-hearted place, but she was basing it off of her experience and didn't really have any clue my reasoning or my positioning on why I wanted to do that. But in my heart, I was like, I just feel like Instagram is not it. I originally said I want to create a new Instagram. And she was like, no, don't do that. Like, you have so many people that will support you on your current Instagram. Like, you don't need a new Instagram. And like me being someone who works with energetics, I kind of know that I do. Like, point blank, period. Like, I need a new space that I can kind of step into. There's a lot of old stagnant energy on my Instagram. I had a reel go viral a few years ago and I had a nip slip in the reel. And so like a bunch of like old men followed me. My account got restricted from being seen by people under 18. And so yeah, there's just like a lot of things about my Instagram that I'm like, not a big fan. Okay. And instead of listening to that inner voice, I listened to the fear that was meant to keep me small, keep me in place, keep me doing the things that I was doing. And this manifested through another person, but it was an internal thing that was happening, right? And instead of, seeing the fear and seeing it for what it was, I let the fear dictate my next move. And so this practice that we're doing today is a practice of seeing the fear, of recognizing whether or not the fear is actually meant to serve you, is actually meant to support you, or if it's something that it's time to let go of. And only you will know, right? Like only you, I'm going to take a picture really quick. Only you will be the one who knows what the best move is for you. When we're looking to outside sources, when we're looking to other people, it's because we're avoiding the truth that we hold within. And that's not to say that getting advice or being mentored is a bad thing. I'm all for mentorship. But I think at the end of the day, any relationship is really an invitation back to your own true north. And so in this practice that we're going to do, we're going to be hunting fears or limiting beliefs or doubts. And it's up to you to recognize, whether or not the limiting belief or the fear or the doubt is old, if it's not needed anymore, or if it's something that maybe is still serving you, because sometimes things can serve us. Also, it's about recognizing whether or not it's serving you in a way that supports your expansion or that stuns it. And so I'm going to read from this chapter. It's a pretty short chapter. And then the practice is also in here as well, but I'm going to adapt it a bit. This book takes you on a journey with Sekhmet, and there's other practices like tying energy into twine. And so I'm going to kind of skip over that and modify the practice a bit for the sake of what we're doing here. But this is an amazing journey. I highly recommend it. Nikki Scully has a bunch of books about ancient Egypt, the role of the masculine and feminine, just a very amazing teacher. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. As I'm reading the first few pages, you can go ahead and just kind of settle into your space, get comfortable, kind of set yourself apart so that you won't be disturbed when we go into the somatic experience. Be prepared to make noise in that experience. Yeah. Settle in. You're safe here. All of you is welcome here. And if you have something in mind that you want to bring to the altar today to either appreciate or to feel a sense of recognition or awareness around, you can go ahead and drop that in the chat or the comments. Be happy to read and receive that, or just hold it here on your heart in this energetic space here with us. All right, welcome. Dealing with fear. Fear is one of our greatest teachers. From the time you had your first childhood lesson of keeping your hands off the hot pot or cook stove, to your current ability to recognize danger and get out of the way, fear has earned our respect and has tremendous influence and sway in our behavior. The ability to discern the difference between fear and paranoia is basic to the mature enjoyment of life and the management of stress. There are things that get in the way of the kind of progress we wish to achieve with regard to fear, which is often behind many of the most deep-seated issues that interfere with our ability to locate the main blockages to our personal energy and power. Fear has many causes, including all manner of traumatic experiences ranging in time from conception throughout our lives, and sometimes even including past life trauma. The older and more extensive the trauma, the more deeply it is ingrained in our soul's memory. It can still affect our ability to achieve consistent clarity in our lives, even if we don't have conscious memory of the event or events that caused it. Those fears at the time they were set in place were likely important survival mechanisms. Your fear is serving a purpose. It's not bad, not wrong, not something to be shunned. It's here for a purpose. Fear's wide range of causes include not only our direct experience of frightening events, but also the phobias that are handed to us from our parents, such as fear of spiders and other judgment-based decrees. Many of our cultures are fear-based and create and feed unreasonable fears like homophobia, xenophobia, and other fears embedded in propaganda, while war and conflict generate PTSD with all its complexities and anxieties. Poverty, disease, pain, and death forge an endless array of other problems over which we have little or no control. Even scary stories in our youth can implant fears that can last a lifetime. Whether your fears are rational and realistic or totally unfounded, they have a huge impact on your life. The transformation that occurs based on how you face those fears can make a great difference in the quality of your life. The importance of dealing with fear cannot be overstated. The powers that control the world have chosen to use fear to manipulate, dominate, and oppress huge segments of the populations of our country and many other countries around the world. We are going to have to stand up and face this. Bringing your fears as close as you can to consciousness is an important part of the alchemy so that they will stand out to Sekhmet as particularly delicious tidbits. The more you can offer up your detrimental patterns to Sekhmet, the more satisfying will be the offering and the results more clear and potent. Have you ever studied how traditional Native Americans hunted for their food? There is great respect for the animal. Before a shot is fired, a bow drawn, or a trap set, a prayer of gratitude is made for the creature, honoring its family and acknowledging the sustenance that is the gift of the hunt. Every part of the animal is utilized, and nothing is wasted. As you enter into this covenant with Sekhmet, there is a level of trust in the container itself, a knowing that Sekhmet will be able to transform that which you are offering her and utilize every morsel in a good way. Therefore, your desire to give her an exceptional, nourishing meal is paramount. The entire process, when treated with a high level of respect and gratitude, will help assure that we can truly stop the insanity that has become so pervasive in our world. Fear is particularly important because courage, an important quality dispensed by Sekhmet, is gained through meeting your fears directly. During this journey, we will work on making your fears more conscious as you cleanse and prepare yourself. To accomplish this, you will need to find a way into a direct relationship with your subconscious mind. You cannot think yourself there. Your subconscious is too deep. Although you can't get there directly, you can become aware of it, starting with the last time you felt fear and working backward until you know you are ready to move into a different arena. Transforming fear with Sekhmet. Fear can be helpful in keeping us alive, yet we also have irrational fears that do not serve us, and some can be very debilitating. It's important to be able to distinguish irrational fear from true threats to our or another's safety. The survival mechanisms that we employed when we were young, even precognitive, set patterns into our subconscious mind. If we do not recognize, outgrow, or otherwise change these patterns as we gain in our understanding and discrimination, they remain our first and most available means of dealing with fearful situations. These fears can run the show and cause us to react in ways that are not productive and often magnify the danger. Throughout our lives, we learn ways to recognize threats and things that could cause pain, and we intuitively get out of the way. Each type of fear requires its appropriate response. The following journey is an alchemical process that will help transform the layers of fear and open the way for other levels of transformation. As you journey, you will be looking for those responses that do not serve you anymore, the ones that are so ingrained that you act from your subconscious patterning rather than from mature, reasonable consciousness and skill. Each time you locate a reactive pattern that no longer serves you, it will take you deeper into recognizing and bringing these patterns to the surface, where they can be added to your awareness of your subconscious mind. Fear puts us in fight or flight mode, affecting our adrenals and making it difficult to form a conscious response. The aim of the transformation is to be able to take action with responsibility rather than reactivity. Sekhmet is here to help you recognize and find those fears, identify with them, and work with them in a way that allows you to bring them forward and into your awareness. You may wish to do this fear journey in a place where you are alone or with a trusted group so that you will not be inhibited when it is time to roar as a lioness. Like I said, be ready to make some noise. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the journey itself. Allow yourself to be very comfortable as you close your eyes and ground and center yourself. Take a moment to find your heart flame and feed it with love. So just taking a moment to anchor deeply into your body. And if you're having trouble coming into your body, you can just begin to focus on either a candle, physical, or the image of a flame in your mind's eye. Bringing that awareness into your heart and feeding that flame with your love. And as you pour love upon your heart flame, inhale the powers of the earth and the sky. Reach with your breath into the heart of the earth and draw up Earth's vitality, power, strength, healing energies, and vital life force. Gather the elements, minerals, plants, and their intelligence into your body, drawing them all the way up to your heart center, where they enter your heart fire and mingle with the intelligence, power, and love that you have drawn down from the sky. Continue to pour love on your heart flame throughout. As you inhale, experience the breath through your entire body and let a new level of alertness and clarity enter every cell and molecule of your being. As you exhale and the radiance of your heart flame grows, look outside the circle of life that surrounds you like a halo. This will be like a circle of light surrounding you amidst the darkness. Look into that place of darkness that inevitably surrounds us all. As you put your attention beyond the comforting glow of light into the darkness, you will see the eyes of Sekhmet gleaming in the darkness. On your next exhale, send your heart breath to Sekhmet as you ask her to join you and help you deal with the fears that inhabit your being. As you connect with Sekhmet, she stands before you in her goddess form, a woman's body with a lioness's head surmounted with Uraeus crown, holding the sun disk. For reference, the Uraeus is a stylized image of an upright cobra that was worn by deities and high initiates of ancient Egypt, and it's emblematic of the serpent power or the Kundalini energy that was accessible to them, and it's also a symbol of an awakened being. You often see it on ancient Egyptian relics. So as you connect with Sekhmet, she stands before you in her goddess form, a woman's body with a lioness's head surmounted with a Uraeus crown holding the sun disk. If this is the first time you are meeting with Sekhmet, allow yourself to connect with her eye to eye and heart to heart. She may place a hand or paw upon your chest. Allow yourself to feel her sekhem, her power, moving into your heart and through your circulatory system into every cell and molecule of your body, waking up the ancient memory that resides in your DNA. Reminding every part of you that this goddess truly lives within you. Notice how you experience being filled with her courage and power. Sekhmet has come to help you work through your fears. As you continue to feel her power coursing through your being, she morphs into her beautiful lioness form, nudging you to become a lioness with her. She is going to take you on a journey into the savannah. Feel as you begin to transfigure into a lioness. You can feel as your breath, your body, and your muscles change. As your whiskers grow, you begin to sense how they communicate information to you. Stretch into the fullness of your lioness being and follow Sekhmet, experiencing the grace and strength with which the two of you are running across the savannah. Although you are following Sekhmet, you know that she knows exactly where she is going. Notice your senses as they become more acute with each stride of your graceful lioness body. In the distance, you begin to perceive the first sphere that is coming to meet you. Sekhmet shows you how to stop and crouch in the grass to watch. Once you are still and hidden, observe this sphere closely. Listen very carefully. Sniff the air. You can smell it. You may even be able to taste it on your tongue. Is this a fear that is serving your higher self? Is it keeping you safe? Notice where you feel it in your body and how your body reacts to it. Can you feel it? If this fear is something that still serves you, then honor it. If it has served you in the past to keep you safe, honor it and thank it. If it is a fear that you wish to transform, Sekhmet may nudge you to stand and look directly at this fear. You hear a low, grumbling, rumbling sound, possibly before you realize that it is coming from within you. Let the sound build as you face the sphere. Let loose with a great roar. Notice how the fear reacts. Do not be shy. Sekhmet is right there with you. The roar seems to have a life of its own. As it diminishes, take a moment to tie this sphere into your web of awareness. It is not necessary to know the story behind the fear, yet isolating it in this way helps you to let go of it. After your experience with that first initial fear, continue hunting more of these fears, following the same process. As you seek out each fear, remember to honor and give gratitude. Then roar and let go of that which no longer serves you. Sometimes you will know the source of the fear, the specific situation that caused it, and sometimes it will be obscure. In either case, let yourself tie this into your web of awareness and continue on your hunt with Sekhmet. For the sake of this practice, go ahead and do this with 2 or 3 more fears that are arising for you. Crouching as you see them, hiding behind the grass, recognizing them, thanking them, and letting them go with a roar. And just a reminder that you're safe here. You are not the version of you who used these fears as a protection mechanism anymore. You are the adult version of you. And that is the version who is seeing these fears in a new light. So continue to own your power through that roar, through that visceral sensation. And reclaim your energy. These fears no longer, nor did they really ever, command you. You command them. They work for you. Let's come to a close here, hunting your last fear with Sekhmet. You can always come back to this practice later as more fears arise, because I can almost guarantee you that they will. When there are no more fears showing up for now, you and Sekhmet walk side by side, enjoying the sun in the aftermath of the hunt. She has shown you how to hunt and how to face your fears. She is always available to you in the future if you need to come back to this place again. Take one last stretch in your lioness form, relishing the power and strength that is the natural state of a healthy lioness. Now feel yourself come back into your human form as Sekhmet returns to her goddess form, while you slowly walk back to your place in present time and space. Imagine yourself coming back to the middle of that halo that we started in. The halo among the darkness. Walk with Sekhmet now and ask if she has any further instructions for you in preparation for what is to come. You may receive this in words, in light language. You may receive this as a gift or a box or a totem. Allow yourself to receive it unconditionally. Be sure to express your gratitude to Sekhmet for this teaching. You may find a need to repeat the hunt as memories surface or new events occur. Thank yourself for having the courage to face your fears and offer prayers for others whom you know and the world in general to be able to live free of fear. When you feel complete, take a deep earth breath, pulling up the earth energy to help to ground you in your physical body. Wiggle your toes and fingers and slowly open your eyes. Notice how your body feels as you come back into this space. Let yourself really feel the transformation that has occurred here on a subconscious level. And as you feel ready and as you feel called, write down every detail that you can think of in your journal as soon as possible. It's important to know that you don't need to understand the stories behind every fear or memory. Sekhmet will know what to do with the energy. Remember to give gratitude. This helps with the alchemization process. Take as long as you need to continue to delve more deeply into your psyche to find those characteristics that require transformation. Look for any weaknesses, places of illness, discomfort, and trauma that remain from old injuries, as well as emotional baggage that causes reactions that you have yet to fully control. Let these sit in your web of awareness and allow them to be without needing to change them or fix them. Simply your recognition of them and your recognition of your position in relation to them changes the dynamic of how they show up in your life. I'm going to give you a few more minutes to finish journaling or writing anything down that came through in your visions or in your journey with Sekhmet. If you've never worked with Sekhmet before, sometimes she doesn't reveal herself directly to you as a lioness. Sometimes she reveals herself more as a shadow figure. So if that's what you experienced, don't think there's something wrong with you. That's part of the initiatory process with working with any archetype, really, but especially those that work with the darker forces like the subconscious and transmutation and death. If you are feeling called to share your experience, you can go ahead and do that in the chat. I would love to receive that. Or the comments if you're watching the replay. And if you've never worked with an archetype or a goddess or a deity or a being in this way before, I'd love to hear what your experience was with it. All right, begin to come to a close with the sentence that you're currently writing in your journal. Coming back into this space, you can always go back to the journal at a later point in time. But before we leave here, I want to share a few reflections with you from what happened after the first time that I did this practice. I was sitting in the bathtub and I did this practice, and a lot of things came up for me initially, but it wasn't until a week and a half later that more fears and limiting beliefs and stories began to come up for me. And through this practice, I was able to do a shorter version of this in my mind's eye as the fears arose. And it really helped me to bring the power back to myself, to know that the fears do not control me, that I am the one who utilizes fear to my advantage. Fear is an evolutionary master, truly. And so when we fear, it makes it hard to utilize or work with it as an ally. But when we know the role of fear and we know where we stand in relation to fear, fear can be utilized as this beautiful sword that we can wield to better clarify and support ourselves in 3D physical reality. Sometimes fear is necessary. If we did not have the fear of death, a lot of us would not be living. A lot of us would just let things go by and we wouldn't actually go out and live. Right? So fear has a very valuable essence. And so I want you, off the back of this call today or this week or this month, play with the idea of creating a relationship with fear, creating a relationship with your limiting beliefs, creating a relationship with the version of you who formed the fears, who formed the limiting beliefs. Because at one point in time, those limiting beliefs and those fears actually served a very valuable purpose of keeping you alive. And so it's not about shunning or shaming or making them wrong or making them bad. It's about actually integrating them into the person that you have become, into the version of you that you are currently being. And as you begin to see fear as an ally, you'll learn how fear can actually assist you, how the darkness can actually be a supporting and supportive force for you, not something to run away from or hide from. And so that's why in the practice we thank and we give gratitude for the fear, because it's not some inherently scary or bad force. It's something that actually deeply nurtures you in some way. It's about learning to meet that need in a new way, or allowing that fear to be there because it is meeting the need in the way that's necessary right now. And Sekhmet is just one of many forces, beings, deities that we can work with to harness these darker parts of ourselves. She's one of my favorite, for sure. And there will be supporting forces to assist you in this process as well. I can almost guarantee, like right after I did this practice for the first time, I read the book The Power of Belief by Ray Dodd. And it was like a deepening of this practice, giving me more of like the logical. And inside of Stories for Success, we definitely go into the more logical understanding so that you can get the way it works mentally, as well as some of those somatic practices to assist you in working with fears and limiting beliefs and establishing a new homeostasis in the body. And so that is our practice for this month. Before we exit out of the space for today, I would love to invite in what Nikki Scully calls the heart breath, which is what we did in the beginning of uniting the earth and the sky together in our hearts. And so just taking a moment to tune into the heart, to tune into the grounding and stability of the earth, and the power and the wisdom and the knowledge of the sky, of the plasma, of the ethers. Allowing that marriage to meet in the heart of your physical vessel and expand outwards to everyone in the room today, to everyone who does this practice, and to yourself, to all those that you've come from, to all those that you've left behind. In our hearts, in the one mind, we are all together as one. And so just sending out loving kindness to each and every being, to each and every emotion, to each and everything, and allowing ourselves to receive that same loving kindness in return. Oh, thank you so much for this practice, for practicing here with us today. I look forward to seeing you on the interwebs, seeing you in a container in a course, and seeing you in the next time we're in this space. Have a beautiful day. Mahalo.